Okay, so today we're going to work on a Christmas ornament. We should be able to finish it in one sitting. And we are preparing the background with different colored greens. This is the reference. So we need to create those dark greens in the back, kind of variation of dark and light greens in the background. So we're starting with a dark one, and I have here Payne's Gray, Sap Green, Cadmium Yellow Light, and some chromium oxide. Chromium oxide is just an addition. It's not no need to have it. If you don't have it, it's not a big deal. So I'm going to start with just priming the canvas with some dark greens and light greens with big brush, random. Might need to do another layer, but it's nice to have this texture, and it creates like the texture looks like the Christmas tree in the back, so it's not flat.
I did prime mine already with a darker color, but
that's fine. That's fine. You just
not textured like this. So.
No, it's all right. You once you start highlighting, adding a bit of yellow to your green, that will create the texture when you start highlighting. So I'm just using right now Sap Green and Payne's Gray. So Margaret, the phthalo green that you mentioned before that you have, that will be nice when we start adding some extra color in the background, as instead of using it for priming. It will be nice to have those kind of greens in the background.
Okay.
After. So it's a good idea. I'm darkening a bit the bottom part, just a bit, so more of the Payne's Gray in there. And it doesn't have to be smooth or anything. I'm going to add a little bit more of Payne's Gray and green, but more Payne's Gray in the corner right here. It's nice to see some depth in here. All right, that's good. Don't need to do much. That's enough. All right, we're going to let it dry, and then we will trace, or we will put the circle, and then we'll come back to this. Let's leave it to dry now. Okay, so now I'm going to add a bit of a lighter green in the background. So I have here just cadmium yellow light, sap green, and a bit of Payne's Gray. And let's take it from here. Random. Just put it randomly. Take a little bit of the kind of a darker, or even just at this point, because we have already primed the canvas, we can just put a little bit of sap green only as well. That will work good. That gives us a different green. Oops, this one here. Perfect. That looks good. And I don't mind this kind of little bit of a textured background here. There. Perfect. That's good. We're good. I'm going to pause. Okay, now to create the bokeh, this effect, which means out of focus, those lights here, there's a way of doing this. So you take your brush, bright. It's better to use bright instead of flat. And you put your color on, your paint. You hold your brush up. I don't know if I should tilt my camera a bit so you can see. Let me see it sideways. No. You take your brush, one corner of the brush stays still. This looks distorted now. And the other part moves. So I'm going to put it here. This part in the center stays still. And the other part, other corner, moves. This is what you're going to do. Oh, geez. The circle. That's the only way. That's the best way to do that. But there is another way also. So, oh my God. Okay. So, like that. When you do it fast, it's easier.
Right. You kind of twist your wrist when you do it, like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Like this. So it doesn't have to be a perfect circle, of course. Now, the other way of doing it is just using your brush, maybe a round brush. It might work as well. Let me see. Let's see. And just kind of draw a circle and color inside. There. That works too. Round. Now, the bokeh effect is used when you are doing a bokeh effect is you use, for the outer first layer, you use more like a glaze color. It's not heavy paint. It's transparent paint for the first layer. And then you wait for it to dry and you put a thicker layer inside, or use, let's say here, let me see, lighter maybe. So the first layer is usually transparent or lighter, maybe some white in it. Let's see, let's put some white in it. In the paint that is already kind of a glaze, and then you put white in it, and then when you go in and put the darker part inside, you put slightly darker and usually more opaque inside. So now I'm going to take a little bit of a darker green and put it that's too dark. Let's go a little bit lighter. There. That will give you kind of that effect, and it will be nicer on a darker background. So we can practice. You can see it here. You can see that there's a halo around, and it's kind of soft edge. We can practice if you want, or just kind of work directly on. So the way I did it, I started with the transparent one. Over dark, it will be much better, because over dark, when it dries, you can see the background showing through, which is perfect. That gives you that effect of transparency.
So you're using the green and the white? No,
I use green and yellow, bit of green and yellow, and it's just kind of a bit of more like a glaze, not thick. I'm going to put another one here. I'm going to take a little bit more yellow. I would avoid white right now because white is kind of a bit opaque.
Okay.
So whatever you do, just try to do it with just color right now. Let's put one right here. I take just more yellow. And we're going to change the size as well. Some of them will be small, some of them will be big.
You put the darker color in while it's still wet, right?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
No, I would wait for it to dry, because if you put the dark color when it's wet, it's going to mix with the background of the lighter color.
Okay.
So now I'm going to take more of. I'm just changing my greens a bit. Some of the greens are more on the yellow side, and some of them are just kind of green, like just sap green. But I'm putting water, so it's kind of a soft edge in there. Let's put a big one here. And we're going to change the colors too. We're going to put some blues in there too. All right, so let's do a couple, and then we'll go back and put the ornament on while this is kind of drying before we continue with the rest of the bouquet. But this is how it's done. I'm going to let it dry now, and then I'll come back to it and add some some more. All right, I'm going to pause. All right, now
I've got a bowl that I'm going to use for the sip circle.
Oh, good, good.
That's what it says.
I'm going to transfer the Christmas ornament, the bowl, in here, and then kind of like a little higher than the center, more on the left, not centered. You don't want to put it here. Push it up a bit from the center and high, like this, higher, so that more space at the bottom and less on top. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is slide transfer paper, white, because I'm working on dark, and use pencil. So I'm going to transfer only the ball, not the ornament on the ball, not the pattern, just the ball. We will transfer the pattern after we finish working on the ball. Okay. There. I'm going to pause. Okay, so now I have the same colors, cadmium yellow light, sap green white, and I have here also cerulean blue. So I'm going to continue working on these little bouquet. Stick green at this point, sap green, put some white in it. A little bit thicker paint than the background one. And what I'm going to do right now is put a circle in the center and highlight more. I'm putting now yellow, white, some green, and I'm going to make the center part thicker and brighter. It will dry darker, but this creates a halo around it. That's the effect. I'm going to take some yellow. Stick more white. And some green in it, not just white. But more white than green. That's good. There's no need to do a lot of bouquet. Some of them will be just like I'm doing right now, just kind of straight circles with no halo around them. Just like that. Now I'm going to take a little bit of blue, which is cerulean blue. Mix it with the green you have, if you have it on your brush. And let's add one or two in a bluish green in here. And then we will put just blue as well. Good. All right, that's good. That looks good. All right, let's put some blue in here.
What blue is that, Claire?
Cerulean.
Really?
Cerulean blue. I'm going to put a big one here to balance the ball. I'm adjusting the strong light in here a little bit, more like in the center.
The blue, was that just blue and white, Leon?
Blue and white.
Yeah.
Okay. We're good. If we want to add after, we can add as many as we want. But for now, it's good enough. We don't need much. I'd rather wait until it's, I put all of the other colors in there and see if I want to add more. There. Okay, good. We're good. I'm going to pause. Okay, so I'm going to use a round brush. I'll show you in a minute. This brush. And take some greens. I'm going to put a bit of blue in the green. Cerulean Blue. And give a hint of some but we don't have to show it too much, just kind of a hint. Stick. Draw a line and then just put this area here is empty. That's why I'm putting more here. Okay, a third one, maybe going drooping this way. I put another one here. Let's take one this way. And go around this way. It doesn't have to be perfect, just a hint. Okay. All right, that's good enough. You know, you could use also, will look really nice with it, is some gold after. Gold paint here and there. That will look really nice. So now, after we do this, we're going to tackle the ball. So with this, I'm gonna change colors. I'm going to pause. We'll change colors and then we'll come back. Okay. For the greens that I put in here, that you see right there, I'm using a big brush, round brush. I'm going to take Sap Green, or any green you want. What I did is I mixed Cerulean Blue with Sap Green. Make it a bit kind of fluid, kind of. It's like, you know, when you buy fluid acrylic, that's the consistency you want. Not too thick because it won't work. Then you're going to do this. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then just kind of push your brush out from that stem out. So see how it's not perfect? It's just kind of a hint of this, and here it is like that, but because it's on dark, you can't see it this way. This looks feathery right now. Looks like a feather. But on this, because of the background being dark, you can't see that feather effect. So, just a hint. All right. Now, let's color this this ball. Before we color it, I just want to make sure it's circle, it's right. Although, I mean, by the time I put the ornament on it, it's not gonna, the circle will look fine. All right, now for this, I'm using Alizarin Crimson, Cadmium Red medium, and let's do these two for now. Just work with these two, these two colors. All right, round brush, same brush, big round, not small round. And I'm going to put Alizarin Crimson all over. Not worried about the white part, white pencil crayon, or I'm not worried about that now because I can always erase it. I'm just going to turn this around a bit so I can control my brush stroke. And you see Alizarin Crimson is transparent. So because it's on a dark green, it will dry darker, which is great. Okay. Now I'm going to take Cadmium Red medium, mix it a little bit with the Alizarin Crimson, a little bit of Alizarin Crimson. And I'm going to start from here. Oh, maybe I should wait a bit. This is where the light is hitting. You know what? I'm going to wait a bit, or I'm going to pause and use the hairdryer because it's lifting the dark red underneath. Okay, so this is better now because the layer, the Alizarin Crimson is dry now. This is Cadmium Red medium. So don't forget, this ball is reflecting a lot of light around it. Right now we're just putting the initial color, but we don't want to darken or highlight, I should say highlight the whole color, the whole ball all the way down. Just kind of keep the light color where the light is coming from the right, from here. This is where we should see most of the highlight, most of the light color. The rest will be just kind of reflection of light bouncing off. Since we're doing red, I'm going to add a couple of red what are they called? Berries? No. What is that? The red ones here.
Oh, berries.
Berries?
Oh, berries or whatever.
Mm. Put them randomly and then we will connect them with some stems. For now, we'll just put them random. It's good. Let's see if this is dry. Not yet. I'm gonna dry this with the hairdryer. I will pause. All right, so now the first layer I did was Alizarin Crimson. Then I did another layer on top right here, bit of highlights. I mixed Cadmium Red Medium with a bit of Alizarin Crimson. Now I'm going to take Cadmium Red Medium. I'm going to put it on top, and you see how strong the color is? And that's just Cadmium Red Medium, nothing else. With a round brush. The reason I'm using a round brush is just because I want some texture, and this is giving me a perfect texture. We still have the ornament that goes over, or the pattern, I should say, over this. So that's not only be, it's not going to be only this. Okay. Okay, now the same thing I'm going to do with the one in the corner. Let's give it some highlight. It will dry darker. At this point, I'm going to grab some cadmium red light and mix it with the cadmium red medium. And that will be only for the part where there is a stronger highlight. Right here. So just to give it that shiny reflection. Okay. Let's do the same for the one in the corner. Again, not everywhere, just the top. All right, that's good. I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna pause. Okay, for the berries, we are going to highlight a couple of those berries, but the others, we're going to give them a little bit of texture, and I'll show you in a minute. Highlight them from kind of one side. Okay. And let's highlight this one. Okay, now the other one, what we're going to do, we're going to take white, mix white with cadmium red medium, and use a small brush, round small brush. We're going to do this. We're going to dab inside the circle and around it too, so the outside of the circle is kind of textured. It's cadmium red medium and some white, just like that. And then I'm going to take more white with the same cadmium red medium, so I'm making the color even lighter, and I'm going to dab on top. Something like this. So the bottom part has cadmium red light and white, and the one part of it where the light is coming from, we're going to add cadmium red light, cadmium red medium with more white. Okay, one more. We start with cadmium red medium with white, but not too light. And then we just dab. Making sure that the bottom part is darker, because it's not a flat, it's a round. It's like a round kind of. It's like a ball. And then now same thing, cadmium red medium with more light, more white, and just kind of put it all over. We don't want too much of these, just a couple, maybe 4 or 5. You know, and then again, one more. This is all cadmium red, medium, and white. Now I'm going to take more white mixed with cadmium red medium, not just white, and just highlight mostly the top part. Otherwise, if you highlight the whole thing, it will look flat. I'm going to highlight the other ones, other small ones here with a stronger, because it's drying darker. All of this is going to dry darker, but these they dry darker, so you can't see them. So what happens is these are going to be showing too much, and to kind of balance, have some balance between both, we will highlight the red ones there. While I'm doing this, I'm going to take a little bit of red, cadmium red medium, put maybe 1 or 2 down here, just to spread the red. Okay, maybe here. And they don't need to be, I mean, I'll wait for it to dry, but if they're dark, that's fine. Don't need to highlight them. Just a hint of red in here. Okay, that's good. This might need a little bit more of highlights. Let's take cadmium red light and just kind of add a little bit more highlights in here. Not much, just a little bit. All right, that's good. All right, now let it dry and then we'll put the ornament on top. I'm just going to pause for a minute. Okay, so I'm going to put stems on these little berries here, and I need a dark color. I need like a almost black. So what I did is I took Alizarin Crimson and I put Sap Green in Alizarin Crimson. That will give me a really kind of dark color, almost like a very dark brown. Right there. So with I'm just going to put some more water in here. So it's my brush flows easily. And this is a round brush, small round brush. I'm just going to take, and it doesn't have to be a strong color. This kind of brown is perfect. So just mixing red and green, and because I'm mixing Alizarin Crimson, which is dark, with Sap Green, it's giving me a really dark, very nice brown. That's it. You know what? I'll just put a little bit of a little thing here. Okay. So next step, I'm going to trace the ornament, the pattern on the ball, and then we'll start painting it. I'm going to pause. All right, so I'm going to I'm going to trace this, and using my tracing transparent paper, put it on top because I can see where it is. Slide underneath my white tracing paper. And just put the lines over. Much easier this way than try to figure out the movement of the there. It's right there. Done. So much faster and easier to do that. Okay, now I'm going to give you some time to do this, and then we will continue. Okay, for the pattern on the Christmas ball, we're going to use raw sienna, cadmium yellow light, and titanium white. So I'm going to start with a layer of raw sienna. I'm using a round brush. You can use any brush you like. It doesn't have to be a round brush. Whatever you find works for you.
Just raw sienna, right?
Just raw sienna now.
Yeah, okay, so I wasn't listening.
Okay. Great. Now let's take, I'm going to take a smaller brush, round but smaller. Again, same, raw sienna. So first layer is done. Now I will start highlighting. So I'm going to take raw sienna and I'm going to add yellow, cadmium yellow light. And I'm going to come here. The back one, you know, put right there. And the back one here a little bit. So that's yellow ochre, raw sienna and cadmium yellow light. Try not to take it all the way to the back here, right there. Keep that dark, that one here, this part dark. Here, because the light is coming from the right hand side, we can add more highlights. So we can bring it all the way down. Just have to turn it around a bit because I can't get a good circle kind of. That's better. Now the same cadmium yellow light with raw sienna again. And let's give this one here the big kind of pattern. I'm going to try to keep the bottom part slightly darker on the big pattern, not the small ones, because the small ones you can't see that much and we're going to highlight them that even more. But the big pattern, you can see it. You can see the highlight. It's because it's wide. It's big. So I'm adding now a little bit more of the yellow mixed with raw sienna. again. So you can see that I'm highlighting slowly, adding more yellow to raw sienna to get that gold color. Cadmium yellow light. The more highlight I put, the less I spread it. So, because I'm trying to show that it's hitting exactly where the light is coming from here on this side, where I have red, light red, and also that the ball is turning, so it's not flat. If you highlight all the way from here to here, then the ball will look flat, or the pattern will look flat. It will not turn with the ball. This is cadmium yellow light with raw sienna, but more cadmium yellow light. Now, on this one here, I'm going to start highlighting this part. More yellow in my raw sienna. And exactly again where the light is hitting, mostly. The paint is lifting a bit. I have to turn it around. I need to do one more layer because the paint is lifting. Because the underneath layer is not completely dry. Going down, trying to get a bit of a darker. Now, let's give this one here a bit of highlight, this part. I need to make sure that this is dry, so I'm going to, you know what, I'll just work on the rest of the pattern, and maybe by that time it'll be dry. I'm just going to pause for a minute and use the hairdryer. Now I'm going to paint with a combination of, it's mostly raw sienna, a little bit of cadmium yellow light with it, but mostly raw sienna. This part. Okay. And let it dry. And then we can highlight it. Meanwhile, yeah, this is dry. So I'm going to take a little bit of white, mix it with yellow, cadmium yellow light, touch of raw sienna, but more of the white in here. It's a light. It's a light yellow. And try to soften this here. Transition. So all I'm trying to do is create a very strong light gold color here. And also same right here. And here. Take white, tiny little bit of red, but tiny amount. You can barely see it, just to break the white. And add a white reflection. They kind of sparkle. Top part, medium tone, kind of, not very highlighted. Color right here. And it's okay if it doesn't look, it doesn't have to be 100%. this part. Everybody knows what this part is. Take some white and kind of highlight part of it. White dot. Now, for this part where this pattern is, I'm just going to use some dark Alizarin Crimson mixed with Sap Green. Make sure that it's flowy, you know, it's like, so it doesn't blob, my paint doesn't blob. And just kind of clean up the edge right here. This is just white with yellow. I'm just enhancing a bit the highlight with more white and yellow, but I'm spreading it less. So this strong white that you see here, I'm spreading it less, not much, just kind of centered in here. I don't want to put too much. There's no need. It's good just the way it is right now. Just kind of clean up a bit and then we're good. So light usually is bouncing off. It's not everywhere. You could see in certain areas, but you don't see it everywhere. Okay. Now, all I have to do is use a ruler for the straight line. And if you can't, I'm just going to put one here, straight line. Can't find a white or yellow. This is a pencil crayon. What I can do to get a very sharp straight line. masking tape. And use Sienna with white. Small brush. There. We're done. Now what all I'm going to do after, when it's dry, completely dry, is clean up. If there's anything to clean, like white pencil crayon, and maybe enhance those greens in here, put maybe another one, and just, that's it. Actually, I can do it right now. Let me see if I have green. Some Sap Green. Some yellow. Just for the Sap Green to show. That's good. We don't need more than that. Oops. Okay, we're done.
That looks like.
Okay, this project is done, and it was fun. So, Happy New Year, everybody. See you next year, and with new, more fun projects.